Remember, the Waqf hearing has been on. This is going to be day 2. This afternoon, we are expecting another hearing from the top court, and this is a bench led by the Chief Justice of India. We're also expecting an interim order that could be passed on 3 key issues, including whether the Waqf properties will be denotified or not, because that's one of the big concerns right now. What happens immediately once this becomes a law? Supreme Court could also determine the extent of the power of the district collector, who gets to now decide which way the debate will go. However, also the Supreme Court may take cognizance of the recommendation that was added in the Waqf bill that non-Muslim members could be included. Whether these non-Muslim members can be included in the Waqf board and at what position, possibly that's what the top court is going to look at. I want to bring you some of the details of the arguments on your screens. Day 1 of the hearing, the petitioners argued the changes bar the declaration of the protected monuments as Waqf, interfere with inheritance rights, to which Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna has clarified that major mosques, for example the Jama Masjid, will not be impacted. Inheritance laws apply across communities. Undoing the Waqf could carry legal consequences as well, so there will be, of course, certain more details that are going to come in and clarifications from the court. Another takeaway from it: the top court has signalled a status quo on 3 amended provisions offering interim relief, which means properties declared as Waqf by user or court will not be notified for now. While collectors, the district collector, may initiate an inquiry, the amended provision will not apply at this stage right away. The court also clarifying only ex officio members of the Waqf board can be non-Muslims. The bench has also taken note of the concerns of the violence, for example, in Bengal, and may also take up that matter soon.
We are much more confident that our religious freedom will be restored, and we will continue to run and administer our Waqf properties as per our religious custom, traditions and laws. And we expect from the Supreme Court that our religious freedom will be restored.
कांग्रेस के 60 साला दौर के अंदर जो वक्फ प्रॉपर्टियों के चेयरमैन थे या वक्फ बोर्ड थे, वो सभी कांग्रेस के बनाए हुए थे और कांग्रेस के ही छत्रछाया के अंदर उनके अंदर करप्शन हुआ। मैं समझता हूं कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट को पावर मिलने के बाद इन प्रॉपर्टियों का संरक्षण होगा और जो अवैध कब्जे हुए हैं वो खाली होंगे।
हमें पूरा विश्वास है कि हमें न्यायालय से इंसाफ मिलेगा और ये सरकार वक्फ की संपत्तियों को हड़पने के प्लान से जो बिल लेकर के आई है माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय, उस पर जो है वो रोक लगाएंगे और देश को एक ऐसा फैसला देंगे कि भविष्य में सरकारें जनता और संविधान दोनों के विरोध में कोई भी बिल लाने से पहले सोचेंगी।
जब वक्फ संशोधन बिल वो लोकसभा राज्यसभा में आया तो जितनी संख्या बहुमत से वो पास हुआ, उस कहीं ना कहीं एक बड़ी संख्या उसके विरोध में भी थी। और देश की न्यायपालिका में अब जो ये मामला गया है और प्रथम दृष्टया माननीय न्यायालय का जो रुख दिख रहा है वो सकारात्मक है। तो समाजवादी पार्टी को भरोसा है कि अब वो कानून की कसौटी पे उस बिल को जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट देखेगी।
ये जो केंद्र सरकार जो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बिल लेकर आई है, हमें उसमें उम्मीद है कि हमें कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा ऑर्डर यहाँ से पास होगा जिसपे हमें राहत मिलेगी और ये जो हमारी वक्फ की ज़मीनों को कब्जा करना चाहते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं उस पर रुकेगा।
इतने 75 ईयर से कोई गरीब मुस्लिम को कोई वक्फ के नाम पर कोई लाभ नहीं मिला है। ये वक्फ के नाम पर लाखों एकड़ लैंड ग्रैबर्स और माफिया लूटा है। जो वक्फ के नाम पर जो बड़ा बड़ा लीडर्स रहते हैं, हमारा हैदराबाद में मजलिस पार्टी के जैसा, वही लोग इस लैंड को लूटा है।
जिस तरीके से उस मोमेंट में ये लोग देश भर में एक आगजनी का माहौल बनाते हैं, ये गलत है और आज फिर से वही प्रयास किया जा रहा है। वक्त को लेकर जिस तरीके से मुसलमानों के बीच में भ्रम फैलाने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है, मैं आप सबके माध्यम से अपील करता हूं कि बिना किसी भ्रम में आए शांति से समय बीतने दीजिए। अपने आप समझ में आएगा कि ये जो भी संशोधन किए गए हैं ये मुसलमान और खास तौर पर गरीब मुसलमानों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए किए गए।
Protesting is only the opposition parties, those political parties which treat the Muslim community as vote banks. They create, fear mongering. They keep scaring the Muslim community. And from the long time I have been witnessing these people, they don't want Muslim community to develop. They want to keep them isolated. Create fear in their mind and then make them anti-BJP. But many of the Muslim communities are now coming forward.
Remember that this currently is a debate not just in the political corridors or on the streets as we have seen sadly, but also as much in the top court. Amit Bhardwaj joins me. Amit, good morning. Day 2, what is it looking like for the top court? On day 1 itself, we've had some interesting observations, expecting an interim order. Tell me about how the netas are proceeding with it in the court, as much as, of course, in the political corridors.
Good morning, Pooja. You know, the biggest boon of contention, or rather the concern for the petitioners or the aggrieved party or the people who are against the Waqf Amendment Bill or Act rather now, has been Waqf by user clause, number 1. Number 2, entry of the Muslim members into the Waqf board, non-Muslim members into the Waqf board, and third, the powers that has been given to the collector, which was rather later on amended to the fact that it should be given to a higher authority beyond the collector. But all these issues were actually taken up in the court, and when we spoke to different petitioners, including Imran Masood, Amanatullah Khan, they were very hopeful yesterday, and especially because of the kind of interim order that the Supreme Court of India is pondering upon. It could have been passed yesterday itself, but the Solicitor General insisted that the government side must be heard before that interim order is passed, and that is why today the time of 2 p.m. has been decided by the Supreme Court of India in order to listen to the arguments and submissions of the SG, and possibly also from the other side, because there must be some counters that the petitioners would be wanting to give to the arguments of the government. But if you look at the picture, largely, by and large, what is going to happen if that interim order gets passed? Waqf by user properties, they cannot be notified, because the biggest concern right now the petitioners have is that, as per them, as per their own argument, out of 8-9 lakh Waqf across the country, 4 lakh Waqfs are Waqf by user, and this would include institutions such as Jama Masjid and other much bigger Waqf properties or mosques that we know, the properties that are managed by the Waqf that we know. And on this particular regard as well, the Supreme Court had said that you cannot go back to 300 years, 400 years back and denotify those properties, because that would lead to a lot of trouble as well. And this was the biggest concern of the petitioners as well.
This will need some clarity as well. Yes.
Passed, the biggest relief for the petitioners would.
Go ahead. Finish your point, Amit. Yes.
Yes, Pooja. So if this particular interim order gets passed and there is bar on denotifying the Waqf by user properties, that would be a big relief for the petitioners, because that is substantially something major that they want. Number 1. Number 2, that ex officio members is a very important part for our viewers' understanding as well. Ex officio members are the people who are nominated or put on the board by the government. So far, the Muslim parties petitioners have been saying that like other religious
these are the three aspects that we are possibly expecting an interim order now. Yes, Waqf by user is one such, because it will need clarity. There primarily the controversy about, was this Waqf by user? If it's not registered, when was the document really written? All of that could actually come, and that's what leading to the claims. Second, the addition of the non-Muslim members, and then the district collector's powers and more. Day 2 will be very crucial. We'll be tracking more of that.